Welcome, everybody. We are now recording. Just to let you know that we're currently recording for YouTube. We're not streaming, but we will be putting this on YouTube later on today. So welcome, everyone. Just to let you know, yes, we're recording for YouTube, and if you don't want your faces on the internet, that's completely fine. You can turn your camera off, but we'd love to see your faces. We will also be doing some screenshots, sharing some love on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, LinkedIn. If you want to do the same, you are welcome to do so, but please keep in mind that breakout rooms and backstage is not recorded, and please do not take any screenshots or any recording during that time as well, just to keep this as a safe space. So just a few warm welcome from us. Welcome. We are Wednesday Web Jam. We are hungry learners, cheeky co-creators, compassionate facilitators, clumsy innovators, change makers, ignorant experimentalists, and whatever you define yourself to be here. So welcome. We welcome everyone. Just a few ground rules that please be kind, be nice, be empathetic to all of everyone in this community. And please remember, we embrace failing forward because there's no other way. This is a safe experimental space that we welcome to fail. So today we have Emily and Colin in the house. We have Emily, who's an embodiment trainer and consultant, and we also have Colin, who is a Somonaut and a creativity facilitator. If you're thinking, I will let them do more introductions about themselves later, but now I will pass the mic to both of them. Emily and Colin. Woo!
The fire, air, earth, and water did contest. Which was the strongest, noblest, and the best? Who was of greatest use and mightest forced? And placid terms they thought now to discourse, that in due order each her turn should speak. But enmity this amity did break. All would be chief, and all scorn to be under, whence issued winds and rains, lightning and thunder. The quaking earth did groan, the sky looked black, the fire, the forced air in sunder crack. So welcome, everyone. It's such a pleasure to have you here. I just invite you to take a moment to have a look outside if you can. If you can look outside. What's the weather like? What is the element that comes to mind first when you look up at the sky or you look in your garden? Right now, it's raining. I'm in Johannesburg. It's an unusually cold day for the beginning of summer. My name is Colin, and some of you who know me will know that I have a background in theatre, and I've spent a lot of time in Japan studying some interesting forms of theatre and performance there. And the one in particular was Buto. And Buto, being this avant-garde form of performance art, was a really interesting way in which the performers and the choreographers would script their performances. They would internalize a range of different symbols and images related to nature, such as I can feel the air releasing out of the heels of my feet. And the next would be touching a cold block of ice. And every time they moved through each of these images, it would influence the way that they would move their body. And so in this paradigm, in this way of working, the elements were a really direct source of inspiration and aesthetic. Aesthetic meaning, for the purpose of this session, that which is perceptible to the senses. And so these ways of working with the elements are really beautifully profound and rich in this context of working. How about you, Emily? What is your relationship with the elements in terms of your work?
Well, it's been a blast from the past for me to revisit this framework of the elements. I actually come from dance and performance, many years of bodywork training, and it's something that's definitely a part of my life, but I haven't thought about it directly in a while, and my conversations with you have been great. Colin gets me to be more theatrical. And it's been a really lovely conversation, and I'm anyway very, very interested in exploring different frameworks for embodiment, embodied awareness, how we can apply those things in daily life, how we can understand ourselves as body minds and not minds and bodies. So I'm just really happy to be here and to keep exploring and to tune into the elements and to see where we land.
Yeah. I actually asked a really good friend of mine, good old buddy Bruce, and I asked Bruce to maybe just pop in and share with us just a little bit of insight into the way that he perceives and works with water and is inspired by the elements. Do we have Bruce? There he is.
Oh, we cannot hear the sound
Ah.
of
So
Bruce.
while Mem figures that one out, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this clip. Is there anyone that's not familiar with this little clip? Yeah, okay, we want to play it then if you can, remember, otherwise we'll move on. It's
what it is, okay?
Bruce.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Yeah, so I encourage you to go and check that video out. I don't think we could see it here, but Bruce Lee, this is a very, very famous way that he was talking about water.
Grammarly has saved me.
Sorry, failing forward.
No problem. So he said water can crash and water can flow. So within all these four elements that we will talk more about that, within all these elements, there are different, a range of different aesthetics, different qualities to each of the elements. So not only are there, there's an aesthetic, that which is perceptible to the senses, but they're also a strong metaphor. And hopefully through the session, we'll unpack and play with and explore the range of these different ways in which we can relate to the elements. Emily, what does the next 55 minutes look like? 50 minutes.
Yes, quick, brief roadmap of what we're going to do. We've opened the subject of the elements, and we're going to first explore a bit with language in the chat and which words and which daily language we associate with the different elements. Then we're going to shift to some embodiment exercises. You can already start thinking about the elements now. Some embodiment exercises and a bit of time free writing to reflect. If you don't have a pen and paper nearby, it might be wise to grab that and have it ready. There will be then a short discussion in breakout rooms with other humans to brainstorm about which applications this could have in daily work and life. And then we'll come back and compare notes, and that's what our 55 minutes looks like.
Yeah. So our objective is just to hopefully give you an extra lens, a lens within which you can assess your environment and each other and yourself, be able to navigate in dynamics, human dynamics, and a lens through the elements that you can be inspired to apply into your work and your life. And that will be part of the discussion right at the end. Great. I don't know if you've got that slide to show, Mim, but we can, oh, there it is there. So there's many different models of the elements, and we're working with just the 4 elements today, which is part of Greek mythology. But of course, in Chinese cosmology, you have metal as well. In Tibet and India, there's also ether, which follows on fire. So, there's different ways, there's different elements as well that you can apply. And in between air and water, you see the different qualities of wet, cold, dry, and hot. And this is quite a useful way to further distinguish between the qualities of earth, air, fire, and water. And those symbols on the inside are just representations of either earth, air, fire, and water, upside down or with an arrow line through it. So we're not going to talk too much about that. We don't want to prescribe anything. We just want you to get a sense of the quality of these elements as you explore and play. Emily mentioned that we will be doing some embodiment stuff. You are welcome to not do them. Anything we invite you to do is completely up to you. We do encourage you, though, to take a little bit of a risk and explore, be curious, and see what you might discover. Because essentially, we want to bridge our felt sense with our rational mind. And this way, we create avenues of accessing intelligence in our bodies and collaborating with our mind. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you look at this framework and if you think about yourself, again, this can also be looked at as these are all qualities that we all have all the qualities, but sometimes one is a little more outstanding than the other, or we might think we're one way and other people see us another way. And just for fun, maybe you can go back to gallery view, find something to cover your camera, and when I say your element, remove it, out yourself as a fire person, out yourself as a water person, and just for fun and to see what comes out and to start tuning into our own elemental preferences. I think we're all many things, but we do have our preferences. So let's cover our cameras for a moment. Exactly, it can be with your hand, it can be with anything. Perfect. So who out there is willing to out themselves as a fire person? Release your camera. Oh, I see fiery people out there. The design thinkers are fiery. All right, everyone please cover cameras again. Who is outing themselves as a watery person? This would be me. Colin, what? Okay, a few watery people out there. All right, back to the drawing board. Who considers themselves to be quite airy, fairy, light and fluttery? Great. Okay, please cover your cameras again. Yes, wings flapping. And who out there is an earthy person? Very grounded, no one? Really? No, okay. We cannot, I guess we can be more than one. But great, thank you for the exercise.
Yeah, thank you. We are absolutely all of the elements at the same time, and sometimes we have a different preference depending on our mood. But the fact that we have preferences also implies that we can move between the different elements. All we need to do is become aware of sensing into ourselves, how we feel in this moment, our mood, our emotions, the context around us, and all of that determines and influences the way that we show up in an elemental, in the frame of the elements. Let's throw a few more pieces of language. We want to generate some language and a vocabulary around these elements. We use references to the elements all the time in our everyday language, both in expressions, in words, in metaphors. And so it might be interesting to see if we can unearth some of these and let them bubble up to the surface. See what I did there? Okay, so first of all, earth. I want you to throw into the chat, please, any words or associations with the word earth. Think of the different qualities of earth. Grounded, really, Hannah? Yeah, of course. Grounded is a very common expression. Mother, lovely. There we go. So please throw them in and repeat them if you need to. Dry, absolutely. Earth can be dry, it can also be wet. Down to earth, yes. Forest, worms, oh, it's full of life, it's life-giving. Roots, lovely, connected, grains, grounded, all of these things, indeed. Rhizomes, earth muffin. Earth can also be quite stubborn. Earth is often very straight and organized and structured, right? Relentless, thirsty, yeah. Dark food, lovely. So all of these words and expressions are part of Earth. They're all correct. Excellent. Also, want to throw in some sensory, how does it feel? How does Earth feel? Moist, soft, that kind of thing. So beautiful. Thank you for that. The next elements I'd like you to explore here is water. Be like water, my friend. And you're welcome to voice them out as well. You can unmute as well. Fluid, wet, flow, life, go with the flow. What are you seeing there, Emily?
Cleaning, shapeshifter, frozen, shaping, energy movement, cool, clean.
I love shaping. This is about being mercurial and being resilient and being flexible, being able to improvise. Water's a strong connector.
Bridging, adaptable, freshness, soft, adapt. One drop at a time.
Empty is a part of water. Brilliant. Electricity, reaching everywhere. Love it. Beautiful. Okay, let's move on to the next element. Fire.
Peak, energy.
When I think of fire, I often think of arguments with my partner, who's very fiery, and then I can be earthy. If I try and meet her with fire, it just gets worse. I have to kind of meet her with some earth or water. Temperament, yeah, contagious.
Great words in here: staccato, volatility, light, sparkle, sex, clear, temperament, contagious, red, yes and no, ecstatic. I really like campfire. I also think of the campfire. Enthusiasm, uncompromising.
Beautiful. Fire can be very erratic. Fire is life-giving, generative.
Father, swallowing, colorful. Great.
All right, the next element is air. Part of our thoughts, lots of thinking. Airhead, right? Freedom, fresh, breath, fluffy. Flying, I like that was happening.
Blossoming, lyrical, breathing.
Yes, thank you, Suzanne. Breathing. The breath is the connector. Breathing. Felt unseen, life. Beautiful. Thank you. So I'm curious if any of those words, were there words that came up there, an association with the elements that surprised you, that perhaps you wouldn't have thought of on your own, or? Yeah? Okay. Lovely. So Emily, take us through some embodiment, please.
Very happily. Again, every exercise is an invitation. Don't have to do anything. You can do these things sitting in your chair. I might invite you to stand up or close your eyes. You can do them eyes open, eyes closed. You can simply observe. Everything is as it's good for you and simply an invitation. For this first short series, if you're willing, leave your camera on. I'll be spotlighted. It's just nice to, I think these are kind of the first steps, and there will be a moment when I'll suggest turning the camera off so you can explore more alone. So if it's okay for your camera on, you can also go off screen or show body parts or be free with your camera, however it's good. And the first thing that I'd like to do is just a simple centering exercise where we include and remember that all the elements are all there at the same time, and we can tune into different things. We can connect with our breath and kind of have a grounded place where we can recollect ourselves. So whoever can and would like to stand up, please stand up. You can also do this in your chair. Bend your knees a little bit. You can't see my knees, but I have a kind of relaxed and flexible stance that allows movement to go through my spine. When I breathe deeply, it moves me. So I want to let my breathing move me. And we're just going to start by tuning in to earth, down the ground, even the ground below floor that our feet are touching. Breathing, and you can even emphasize the exhale. Have a longer exhale that sends us down. If your feet are on the floor, I hope they're on the floor, you can let them spread even more on the floor. Connect with the ground even more. Tune into your legs, to your pelvis, to the lower back. It can be both flexible and stable at the same time. Remember, Earth is slow, heavy, gravity, moist, dark, all these things. And just kind of trying to take a moment and tune in to that set spectrum of qualities. Now take a moment and shift into water. Let your body remember water, sense and feel water. It's fluid, formless, moving. Our bodies are mostly water and liquids. What happens when we tune into that a little bit? There can be different flows and directions and circulations happening in our bodies. What does it mean to breathe when we're more in the water elements? Maybe it's different than earth or fire or air. Maybe our belly can be a bit more relaxed and present. And take your breathing a bit higher up into your chest. And tune into the element of fire. Warmth, action, activity, muscle, movement, staccato. And breathe even in a way that lets your body get warmer. Healthy muscles can contract, they can also relax. It's also part of our fire element. Now let's tune in for a moment just to air, to our skin, to the space around us, to the air around us, maybe to things or space and sensations in and around our head, our ears, top of the head, nose, skin, spine. Lots of different things can connect us to the air. And let's just take 3 deep breaths with all the elements present.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Emily. Okay, great. So stay where you are, stay standing, and you're just going to activate a little bit more, get a little bit of air and fire into the bones, and just shake your body just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to invite you to a little bit of an adventure in your space while you're standing. Very simple exercise. First, I'm going to ask you to start walking in straight lines, just around your room. Obviously, be careful not to bump anything. Walk in straight lines. So if you happen to come up to a wall or a chair or an object, then you've got to turn 90 degrees and keep walking. Make sure that you're only walking in straight lines. Be aware of your pace, so play with variation, but also be aware of the sensation. How does your body feel in that aesthetic, walking in straight lines? Very much earthy element, can be water as well, which is a bit more fluid, but just connect with the sensation, the aesthetic, the feeling in your body of walking in straight lines. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Go. Keep walking. I'll pull you back. Just keep your focus on the walk. Play with the pace, slow down. Don't be automatic. Just allow your body to move. Connect with the sensation in your body. And then on your own, in your own time, just come back to the camera screen. Come back to the front of the camera in a straight line. Nice and stiff. Okay, beautiful. So if you look around your space, if you're indoors, you'll see that man-made things are often straight lines. There's straight lines everywhere. There's a certain aesthetic with straight lines, right? Now I'd like you to do the same thing, but be inspired by nature. If you look outside, outdoors, there's curvy lines, organic lines in nature. Very few perfectly straight lines. In fact, there are no straight lines in nature. And so I'd like you to do the same thing, but walk around your space only in organic, curvy lines, but more like water, less form, bringing a bit of sort of air element in, and use your body in a curious way. Feel the sensation of walking in organic, curvy lines. Perfect. No straight lines, only organic curving. Become aware of how your body moves differently to before. Are you downloading any of the elements? Beautiful. Okay, lovely. So in your own time, just come back to the camera. Thanks for doing that. You will have a chance to reflect and share the experience a little bit later.
Great, next one. Please free your forearms. And I would recommend, I'm going to take off my rings too. I forgot to earlier. So you might want to take off a ring, or if you're wearing a watch. And what we're going to do next is bring these elements into our hands. So let's just do a really quick run through. What would earth hands look like? They would be holding steady, strong, slow. What would more airy hands look like? Exactly. Fiery hands. Watery hands. Perfect. Great. So again, proving we can tune into these elements and bring them at will. Let's start with air. Air, now touching one of your forearms with an airy quality. Can be even just barely touching the skin. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Even moving the air around your arm. Breathing, of course, while we're doing this. Kind of bringing an airy flow to this one forearm. Try the other side. You can change sides freely. Just bringing the quality of air into your hands. Very good. And feeling the skin, feeling the air, even maybe the hair on the arms. Great. Now let's change polar opposite to earth. What I want you to do is to find some bones. It can be one bone, you can grasp the bones. And what I'd like you to create is steady, constant pressure on a bone. And bring the quality of earth. This direction of down, of steady. There can be even an almost imperceptible movement. The earth does move, but in this slow, bone growing, touching kind of way. Make sure you try both hands, both sides. So you're bringing this quality of earth through your fingers to the bone of the other arm. And again, we're just collecting different experiences. Earth quality through your hands, okay? Now let's shift, very good, shift to water. And what I would like you to experiment with doing is even not touching the bone, not touching the muscle, touching this connective layer between and making little waves. Kind of tuning into the liquids that are in there all the time, the connective tissue, and just gently rocking it, moving it in a watery kind of way. Remember to breathe. Make sure you do both sides. Try and just kind of tune into this in-between connective layer and making some swirls and waves. Great. And our grand finale, some fire. Strongly touch your muscles, make them warm. Breathe. Fire up those forearms, both of them active, warm, generating heat. You can be creative, fiery fiery forearms and hands here. Perfect. Now release. Go back for a moment to your grounded stance. And feel your hands and your forearms. I'm guessing they feel a little bit different now.
Lovely. Thanks, Emily. So I'd like to invite you to come a little bit closer to the camera. It's a little bit intimate. Bring your beautiful faces close. I know it might feel a bit strange. It might feel a little bit intimidating. Even that's got an elemental quality to it. So I'm going to invite you to play a little bit. Playfulness has got an element of air, and maybe some fire can be mischievous, right? And that sense, if you go even closer, it might feel a bit strange, like, oh, I feel self-conscious. But try and sense into the elemental quality of that itself. Maybe it's stubbornness, earthiness. What is the elemental quality of fear or insecurity? I don't know. What I want to do now is invite you to explore the elements in our faces. We've got so many muscles in our faces, and often we carry tension in our face, and we become quite fixed and rigid in the way that we use our face. We put on a mask because it's appropriate, impression management. But how often do we explore range within our faces? So let's start with earth. Let's show each other what's a very earthy expression in our faces. How do Remember, earth can be solid like a rock. It can also be a bit soft like sand. How does we'll look at that. Horia's got a very relaxed, earthy. Look at that. And lovely. And Mim's got her eyes closed, as is Yina. Lovely. So it's very different quality when your eyes are open to be closed. So be earth. Maybe a sound. When your lips, can you find range in your eyes? Really, really like explore now, just in an earthy way. It's quite solid. It's beautiful. Okay, and so move from earth into water. See, how does the expression change? How does it feel to shift from earth to water? Water's flowing. It's a little bit more connecting. It feels a bit soft. It's a bit more allowing. Yeah, beautiful. Can you find places the water can move and fill all spaces? Can you find those places in your face that you didn't know existed? Or didn't know, there's a muscle in your head. There you go. And of course, your head and your face, everything, as Rosario is doing, it's all connected to the rest of your body as well. Be aware of how you're holding your hands right now, for example. That awareness is all the way through our embodiment. So from water now, let's play with a little bit of fire. How could you find fire in your facial expression? Fire is erratic, and fire can be big, can be a big bull-ring, big, beautiful bonfire, but it can also be a small little smoldering. There we go, a little fire, sparkle. Yeah, Francisco, there's a fire can change it all the time, right? It's one of those. Oh, lovely with Paolo with the eyes. Yeah, even the eyes can flicker, and the tongue. Wow, you're all being so brave, amazing. Such a beautiful thing to observe. All right, now let's go into air, the playful element, air. How does air? Air is also can fill spaces. It moves. It's the thinking place. It's the air is this ethereal. It can transcend, can connect different dimensions. Air is soft. The breath. Play with your breath for a moment. Just enjoy that sensory experience of breathing, life-giving. There we go. Beautiful. I can hear Rosario with her breath right now. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all so much. It's so brave.
Amazing. So now what we're going to do is take that a bit deeper for anyone who wants to. And this is when I would suggest turning off your camera and really just having 5 or 6 minutes to explore on your own without any issue of being visible or not visible or anything. I would recommend having space to move, although you could do this in a chair if that fits for you. If it fits for you to observe, all good, whatever is good for you. And we're just going to take these discoveries now into the whole body. And I will just guide us through the elements again, and Colin can show visuals. Actually, Colin and I will have cameras on, and whatever we're doing, take it as an inspiration or an idea. We might be expressing the same element in very different ways. That's great. We all will look very different doing what we're doing. And again, everything's an invitation. Yeah, let's see where we land. Take your mark, take your grounded stance in the room, wherever is good for you. Relax knees, getting ready. And once again, I would like to start with the earth. So going down and really taking it now more into movement. Feet on the floor, gravity, heaviness. Finding an earthy way to move. You can take heavy steps. You can move slow motion, steady in one direction. You can try sand shifting on the beach into a different position, or the wind blowing rocks, sand in the desert. I will just throw out some words and imagery, and you see what your body takes and wants to do with it. Bones, gravity, rock, mountain, tectonic shifts, steadiness. Now you can complete this earth movement thought, release it, come back to your relaxed stance. Take a deep breath. And take one step into a different location. Now I would like you to embody water. Become water. Fluid, flowing, formless. Try different speeds. Water can be gentle waves. Water can be crashing on the rocks. It can be slow, it can be faster, it can change speeds. But again, just bringing water into your whole body. Also include the face and the hands, what you discovered before with the face and the hands. Keep going with it and let it travel everywhere else. You can even move from your belly and let it flow everywhere else. Remember to breathe. Finding different ways of being water. Fluid, flowing. Great, and complete this water thought. Come back to your grounded stance. Take one step into another location and become fire, muscles, warmth, heat, action, unpredictable movement, expanding, consuming. And again, just see what comes up for you. Find different ways of expressing fire. Maybe it's the steady flame of a candle. Maybe the candle's getting moved by a breeze. Maybe it's a forest fire that's taking over everything around it. Whatever, maybe it's the birthday candles on your cake. It can be anything, any expression of fire that your system finds. And now for a moment, breathe fiery. Whatever you're doing, add some fiery breathing. Good, release. Find your grounded stance. Take a moment, ground yourself. And one more step into the land of air. Now become airy. Airy, light. Wind, breeze, molecules. You can feel your skin, the air around you. Play with the air around you. And make your breathing airy and spacious. It's unpredictable, it goes in all directions. You can also have different speeds. Feel what it's like to be light, lighter than usual, on purpose, airy light. And let go of this movement thought. And let's just take 3 deep breaths, again with all the elements being present at once. In your face, in your hands, in your spine, in your legs, in your feet. And that you can tune into them at will and bring these qualities out. And when you're ready, find your pen and paper, and you'll have 2 minutes. I will set the timer for 2 minutes just to reflect, collect, translate some of this into language. It can be just keywords. It doesn't have to be complete sentences. It can be a drawing. The idea is just to let your hand move for the 2 minutes and see what comes out. So find your pen and paper, and I will set our timer. And just a moment to reflect on the experiences you've had so far and to capture some of them. Finish your last harvests. About 20 more seconds. And that was our 2 minutes.
Okay. So what we'd like you to do now, invite you to go into breakout rooms. We're going to give you 8 minutes, more or less, to go into the breakout room and just share. We've dropped a prompt into the chat, and just follow that, have a conversation. Just share what you've discovered, what you're exploring, what's coming up, what's percolating, what's emerging, and particularly around how can this lens, these ways of working, or at least the influences and reference to the elements, be useful for you in your life and in your work. Is this useful at all even? So we're going to send you guys off into the breakout rooms, and we can come back and hopefully we can just surface a couple of insights you discovered before we close. All right, Mimp, you're going to send us off into the ether.
Yes. Have fun, everyone. Okay. And for the YouTube recording, we're going to pause and see you in a second.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, to everyone in the session and also on YouTube. I will hand the mic over to Emily and Colin.
Yes, we have just a couple of minutes. We would love to hear one or two pieces of feedback or insights that you had. And then MIMP will close this session. There is a backstage room where we can all talk a little bit longer. I think it usually lasts around a half an hour, right, Colin and MIMP?
Yes.
So before we get there, we just quickly want to harvest in the next minute just some insights, I think maybe verbally, or just throw into the chat. What emerged in your conversation? What was interesting? What was inspiring? What was a bit of an aha for you? What is the new relationship you have with the elements that might be useful in your work or in your life? Just quickly share that with us.
The elements are related to empathy. To me, we had this very interesting conversation with Anna, and because if I feel myself more earthy and in front of me there is someone who feel in that moment, for example, more firing, I don't know if I can use this word, maybe in order to get some empathy, to connect to this person, maybe I need to feel that element and change a little bit myself to be more effective for this. This is about empathy. It sounds like empathy to me. Using those elements as a channel, understand which channel and which element is a bit better with that channel in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely, Paolo. You can assess almost where other people are at and meet them where they're at, kind of invoke that element for yourself and meet people where they're at. And in that way, you can influence in subtle and powerful ways. So
and I think connect, it can be a tool for connecting, which I really like. And I hadn't thought of that in that way yet.
It could be a very interesting, not an energizer exercise during a workshop with Anna. We were thinking about after the lunch break, because it's important. We thought that it could be important that people before this exercise have experienced something together, and then after that they have the how can I say, they have more to not to talk about. They had an experience, they have felt an experience, and maybe this energy could be used as an energizer and to connect to other. For example, how do you feel more with air or fire? And then try to be, you are a fire, try to be more air. Move yourself. Now it's an empathy and energize, and also energizing moment.
Absolutely, and I think Colin would agree. We would love to continue this conversation in the backstage. Thank you, because that is absolutely a practical application in a workshop. Colin, I think we just wanted to invite everyone to keep in touch with us and to be in touch with us, and that we would love to keep exploring these things further together.
Yes, absolutely. And before we do close and go into the backstage, I want to quickly thank you so much, by the way, for joining. It was really wonderful to play and explore with you all. Thank you, Emily. Thanks, Mimp. Next week, we have got a special little ball of fire. And it is none other than Rosario Cirillo, who is here. And Rosario is a a little Italian sunshine of energy, enthusiasm, and passion. And she's a certified CX and happiness trainer, advisor, speaker, and an author with a mission to bring more happiness in the world, one interaction at a time. The business world being her chosen playground. And if you have interacted with Rosaria, you'll know that there's a lot of fire and air going on there. And if you're lucky to get into one of her laughter medicine sessions, then you've had a treat. So please join us next week. And we look forward to that, Rosaria.
Yeah, me too. I almost had forgotten I was going to go up on the screen.
I will try to support you. Rosaria is Italian. I try to be there. I don't know. I can assure you, but I try to be there.
Don't forget to wear something yellow and bring a goldfish if you own one. Don't forget.
I don't have goldfish.
Yeah, then bring something yellow.
Can we draw it? Okay.
The all goes.
Okay, so so if you have also, yes, we have Rosario next week, and if you want to be a guest presenter like Rosario, you can also submit idea to bit.ly WWJ ideas as well. You can also like and follow us on social media and tag us if you post about today's session, or if you just want to have a conversation with us, feel free to just tag us anywhere: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And these are all of our crew members who couldn't be here, and some of them are here. And we also have a Ko-fi if you'd like to support us. But now we would like to go straight into the backstage. So I would like to stop sharing and wave goodbye to the recording. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.